Are you currently taking your medication?
Yes, I have the Latuda, but the Latuda's not working out for me right now because of like my eating. I need 350 calories, and I can't always get those 350 in like at one moment. So the Latuda is upsetting my stomach, and I took it this morning. I ate 350, but I still got sick. So
And you started taking that at the hospital?
you know, I was taking the Latuda when Dr. Ogechi prescribed
She's the
it.
one who started that?
And then they just basically they upped my Lamitrazole.
Well, apologies for the delay.
That's okay.
And we have a new program. So with this new program, everyone's kind of like spinning in circles and trying to know how it gets worse before it gets better.
That's true.
We're in that stage of it getting worse before it gets better. So thank you in advance for your patience. I love you multitasking because you're good at it. I just don't like that. I'm sitting here like,
Yeah, listen, I've been waiting for
and
this
I was
meeting.
in here. It'd have been different if I was out there, but.
I kind of figured you were just running over time with another patient. But because
If
like,
you were the first person today, it'd be something different, but apparently you're not. That's a nice thing to say.
okay,
Okay. It came out nicely.
It
I was trying to
did.
say it nicely. I don't like that. I love what I do because I love my patients. Don't do foolishness. Alrighty. We got some good candies over there.
got my candy.
And you can take more than one. I'm just so happy you're here.
I'm
Do you
literally
need something to drink?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Vitamin waters are your friend. Another thing that is your friend, and it also gives you a little boost of energy, which I'm not giving you mine. Lord. V8s.
Yes, I love those. Those in the bloom drinks, they're so good.
Alright. You can
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for thank you for my vitamin water.
You know, did they recommend like Pedialyte or something? So that way you're getting those electrolytes and stuff into your.
Everything that we've established, that's it. They just told me if I don't take my Lamitrazole, I could get a rash. It could cause Stephen Johnson. I could die. Yeah. Those people at that hospital scared me. I did what I had to do to come home.
Thank you.
Because I knew once I got back here to you, I was going to be fine. I just needed to make it back.
Yes. And when I saw the message, I'm like, what happened? I said, okay. And I put you on here and I sent them the email. I said, I got a schedule. We'll be all right. We're good. You know, boy, I'm like, well, she answered the phone. What's going on? I guess at that time we were already transported. And then that next morning when I got the message, it was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that was a trip, but I kind of needed that trip in a sense because I spiraled out, and things that I'm gonna tell you today why I spiraled out. Yeah, sometimes I wish the meetings were a little sooner, like a little closer together sometimes, but
I'm gonna just be realistic with you on this. I would love to see you 2 to 3 times a month. I would love to. I think that would be clinically appropriate for you to see you. However, well, you have 100 or something people, your caseload should be 60. Something, maybe 80. It's unrealistic.
It is.
You know? So what I try to do is if there's cancellations, those people who I know I need to see more than once, I try to do it or work through lunch or do something. I do my best.
Well, I never want you to work lunch on me. take your time out for you because that's something that you tell me.
This is true. Okay, so I don't want to do it for everybody, but certain people, it's good. So I'm sharing that with you because yes, clinically, would that be appropriate? Absolutely. Is that where we are right now? No. When they make certain changes, carefully we will be. I'm gonna make copies of that for the they're working on the HVAC system, so that's another reason why the windows closed, that you might hear some noise with them doing it. And that's why it's so cold once you hit that corner. Okay? That part. So when they started doing that, they put the copy all the way up there. Make it make sense. I would have put it next door here.
Right.
But I guess because they're working on this side, they just put it to the front, which is of course the hole from the other one. So I was just like, okay. So when I go up there, I just try to make all my copies and stuff like that. Okay. As you look back, why are you looking down, Miss Lady? Just trying to.
Because this is about to be. I was telling my pastor, I was like, I got a lot to say. I got to cram it into an hour and a half or so. That's a lot.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
How about we just start with just taking a deep breath? You're ready. Here they go.
I'm ready.
Not gonna be long enough. Take at least 3 more breaths.
Yes, okay.
The question has been a little minute since you've been at peace. This is your safe place. So you want to take it, breathe in peace, and breathe out freedom. Sometimes when it's going and going and going, you don't really take the time to just breathe. That's what I want you to do. Breathe, please.
That feels good. That feels really good.
You can start wherever you like, my dear.
Thank you. I was reading the relationship. We were still friends. But then my friend called to tell me some news. I wouldn't say disturbing because, although it disturbed me, but I wouldn't describe all of it as disturbing because of the details of it. He called to tell me that he might have a child on the way. This child was basically conceived during our 3.5-year relationship. Although he wasn't all of my problems, he was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was so furious because I couldn't hurt him. Because I didn't get a chance to hurt him how he hurt me.
Do you really want to hurt him?
No, not really, but and that's the part about it. No matter, the relationship wasn't always bad, it wasn't always good. We had unhealthy ways of loving each other, but we always tried to work through them. I just wanted him to communicate all of those things to me. He said the reason why majority of the times he would be so mean and frustrated was because he was fighting with himself. Because he said he was always planning to tell me, he just didn't know how, because he felt like he already let me down by, us being abusive to each other, and did that. When he was literally building me up, he literally tore me back down all over again. So yeah, that was part of the reason. Not only that,
Was that your cousin?
yeah, that was the feeling.
Okay.
It was, and he asked me, he was like, was I the reason? I'm like, you weren't wholly the reason, like solely, but yeah, you were the piece, little piece of the feather that just landed and it went boom. I told him, like, it's not a mistake, no matter what the way you look at it. A child is never a mistake. That child could be your biggest blessing. Did I think that you were going to tell me that? No, I would have never in a million years thought that. But then again, I don't put nothing past anybody. Literally, one of our biggest fights was my mom. She was present for it, and it traumatized her. And that plays back in my mind because he gaslit me. Also, his friend backed him up.
Okay.
So it's two people gaslight me in my face when I know truths. Because I never have to ask questions. God always shows me everything that I need to know. I never have to go through your phone because you're literally, men are sloppy. That's just what that is. They're sloppy at everything that they do. He's texting women while we're together and stuff like that. Then when I brought it up to him, he was saying, well, a toxic part of me is sometimes I just like to see if a girl is going to talk to me back. And so I'm just like, why are you doing that? Because if the shoe was on the other foot, you'd be livid. You'd be livid. Not only that, you are cheating to bring back what home? Nothing except a wet tail. You could have did that at home. And be paid. That's my thing. Like, if I'm to go out and be dishonest or unfaithful to you, at least I'm bringing back home money. He's not going to entertain my time, my presence, without doing something that's going to benefit us. Because it's the way I look at it. And that just made me so angry. And in these moments, and like I expressed to him yesterday, or it was the night before, I said, I'm working on forgiving you because I love you. And anything that you love, you try. No matter how hard it is, you try. I'm not sure if we'll ever get back together, which I don't want right now. I want to be free. I don't want any connections to anyone like that simply because I don't know if I could trust it fully. Because I'm so hurt by it. And parts of me feel like the pain infliction that I was telling them about. And that's probably why they took me as well. Because I do like to inflict pain. It may not always be physical, but sometimes it's emotional or psychological. So, if I'm in a relationship and a man is basically, he's not telling me that he doesn't want me, but it's basically like him pushing me away. It makes me want him more, and I feel like that comes from my father not being there in those aspects, because no matter how much he messes up, I want him back in my life. But in these days of me being an adult, I know that I can't have that because that's not good for me. That will send me spiraling. I'm having so much trouble communicating with people these days. My sister and my friend, so I brought them to be a part of my mental health community. And one day I was on live and everybody does not have the same etiquette that I have. If you're talking, I won't speak. If you're playing music, why would I be playing music on my end? So when they get into these boxes and they don't have the type of etiquette that I have, or they can't just read the room, it makes me feel away, and I can't always communicate that effectively. So sometimes I tell them, listen, guys, remember the things that are going on with me. If you know me, you know it is to love me for who I am, whatever it is. And like I told them, people like me, people love me until they get the part of me that they don't, that it's not pleasing for them. And I'm not here to please anybody. I'm here to please myself and please God. That's about it. So I was talking to my pastor this morning, telling him about the situation, and he was basically asking what could he do as a pastor, as a friend, you know, what can he do to help me on this journey? Because that's what my friend was asking. She was basically, it's the way that all of the things were said, it's the tone of the voice, it's the emotion on the face, and everybody's saying that they're not emotional about it. Because when I stated, I don't have any emotion behind it. They wanted to have a conversation about something that I really didn't have much to say, but a lot to say at the same time, simply because you want to know how can you help me financially. That's how you can help me. I have my mental covered. I have a therapist, a psychiatrist, I have God, but I have my pastor. I only need those 4 things. You notice I didn't list the parents or anything like that. Because no, I don't need them either. If I did, would I be sitting here looking at you? No.
Probably still would.
Probably.
But I'm going to share this with you. The only person making control in the situation is us. That's it. And you're looking for people. You're looking for yourself in people, and you will always be disappointed. Because they're not you.
And I realized that the other night when I was saying that to my sister.
You have, and it's, they are not you.
And I feel like that is so special.
And when people show you that who they are, believe them, and you deal with it accordingly. You know, now if they want to grow and stuff, that's something different. But they're not trained professionals to provide you with the support that you need right now. They're going to do the best that they can if they feel like it.
Because they're going through their own things as well.
That's it.
You know?
They are. So sometimes people can want to support you and not really know how to support you. They may want to, but what am I supposed to do in this particular situation? And you can be like, well, I can tell you. But what if I don't have the money? What if I don't have the time? I don't want to do that. They won't.
And that's what I explained to her on the phone. She was basically saying, what happened to the Benjamin that I fell in love with? Sweetheart, we met at work. If you would have met me at the club, you would have met me anywhere else. I have to be professional at my job. I work around children. It's no way I can be sad and open. That's why I am pouring from the empty cup. Well, I was pouring from the empty cup. Because that's the person that you needed to see. I was your light, but and that's what she was saying. You're always there for other people, but who's going to be there for you? The 4 people that I named, that's who are going to be there for me. They might not be able to help me all the time financially, but she probably could put me in touch with the people who can. I mean, I just felt like she wanted me to render to all the things that she was saying and just accept it. No, I've never laid down for nobody. I will never, except I will only bow down to God. That's about it. I can't do it because I'm aware of what's going on with me. I'm able to pinpoint all of the things and express it to you so that we can try to work this out. But
and what happens when they can't? When they live up to your expectations?
It just makes me move accordingly, honestly and truly.
Give me a specific example of you recognizing that someone is just who they are and how you moving accordingly.
So in the situation of, I'll use the same situation basically. My sister and my friend Crystal, I told them basically, like a lot of the conversations y'all want to have don't need to be had. We're grown. You can either accept what I'm saying, feel how you feel, because at the end of the day, when you say whatever you're gonna say to me, I'm to suck it up, feel exactly how I feel, and move along. So with my sister, she got in defense mode of the things that I was expressing. Like I said, taking into account of all the things that I have going on with me. If you know that I have social problems, why are you trying to get me to express so many things to you? I don't even share how I feel with my mom. Because I feel like she isn't soft enough to give me the advice. She isn't nurturing enough to give me exactly what I need.
But does she give you what she can offer and what she can handle in the moment?
Tough love. She's nicer to inmates. She can't give me the love that I need because she didn't receive the love that she needed. And that right there is something I cannot deal with. I understand that she's just an individual. And like, I get it, but you're 53 now. It's time to be active about what's going on.
Did she ever unpack talk?
No. Well, that's the thing. In the black family, you don't talk about what's going on. I was about 14, 15, maybe a little later than that when I finally found out what happened to my grandma, her mom. My granddaddy killed her and he shot himself. My mom found her in the bed. So like I take into account all of those things because that's very traumatic. Right. And my granddaddy, he went to jail, but my mom was 12 then. So by the time that I was born, I just knew the man that was presented to me. I didn't know about the background or anything like that. And I assumed that the woman that he was married to was my actual grandma. But until I always heard my mom's side of the family say, your mama, your mama, your mama. But they were never talking about the grandma that I knew. But we have a rocky relationship because, I don't know. I feel like, male-centered sometimes because she has boys. The boys were first. Although she said she prayed for a little girl, I don't think she was able to handle it. Maybe she needed me, of course, but she can't deal with who I am. And she never has been able to, even when it's time to talk, like when it was time to talk about birds and the bees, the whole menstrual, my mom put me into programs. She pushed me off of other people so she didn't have to really deal with it. That's the way I'm perceiving it as the child. Because as the parent, no matter what you don't want to do, you have to do for your child. You chose. My thing is, I'm a person of pro-choice. If you don't want the baby, get rid of the baby. It's your choice. No one is making you do anything. And I just feel like a lot of the times, I would have been safer with God than with the family that I was born in. When I was in the hospital, when it's that Thursday night, my parents came by to talk to the doctors and everything, and they wanted to visit me, but it was too late. Before I left home, my mom knew exactly where I was. She knew exactly where I was going. She knew everything. She was at work. And when I got to the hospital and I finally got a chance to talk to her, and I was in the CD department at that point, she says to me she couldn't leave work and that I would just have to wait until she got off. So the way that I took that was, if I had already died, my mama couldn't get off work because she was at work. And that's my thing. What if I did? You would have been at work. Because this is not the first time it's coming.
And the reason why I would say this, right, because you stay in your household, right? And they provide your You're not working right now, right? So they're providing you support. Are they providing shelter, lights?
Financial, but other than
That,
that,
that's what I'm talking about, financial support. When I tell you this phone ain't ring for like the last hour, and then all of a sudden, okay. The reason why I asked you that, because there are times when we feel people should jump and get off, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes at somebody's job. Whether or not they've been written up already, whether or not they're on the verge, it's like all these new changes that's going on right here. Where normally there'll be certain things I feel like I'm out of here, you know, but because there's some new changes trying to figure out this, you know, I may have to stay for this so I can have my evening completely to myself without anyone harassing me. I'm not making any excuses for anyone. I'm just saying let's look at the entire picture, especially once you get deeper into once you resume the workforce and do your thing as an educator. There may be certain meetings you just can't miss. You know, you're in the hospital. She knows physically you're in a safe space because you're in the hospital. I'm not saying this right. Everything just isn't black and white. When it comes to that stuff, I'm saying while we're talking, we're gonna look at the entire picture. I think because she's not loving you the way you want to be loved, every little thing getting on your nerves.
it's been like that since I was a little girl though. When I needed you to protect me, you weren't there. Like you've never really been there. It's always been a financial thing. And the reason why I say
Was she
you
always
could've-
the breadwinner? Or the
Yeah.
primary breadwinner?
and that's the reason why I never told you about my sexual abuse is because I knew your thought process then when I was younger. I've always been a wise little girl. My grandma used to always say, "You've been here before," and I believe that. I wholeheartedly do. When I was little, I made that decision when I first got abused to never tell anybody simply because my daddy he was already in the way. I know that this is my stable parent. When I wake up in the morning, I don't have to guess who's going to be here. I'm going to see her. Or at the end of the night, if she's at work in the morning, I will see her at night. So I'm never going to jeopardize that. And that's
So you learned to play the position?
basically, I learned to cope with things, even during abuse.
I'm so sorry. How many days?
From Thursday until Monday.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm reading right. Okay.
Yeah, since I was little, it's basically you stick it out until you can get yourself out of the situation. Close your eyes, and soon it will be over with. He won't be on top of you anymore. It will all be done. And I just started coping with everything like that. As soon as I close my eyes, and that's probably how I stayed in that relationship that long. I close my eyes, it'll be done. Just like, it won't last as long. And even now when I try to close my eyes, it doesn't work. So they diagnosed me with insomnia, so the majority of the time I am up. And I use that time to stream.
Use that time for what?
To stream, like TikTok, Twitch. Because I can't sleep, so I'm just up until I can, just fall asleep. And my mind is constantly really like, I'm so upset with myself. Also, I was saying, even when it comes down to a job, I was making good money, but my dad got sick. The moment I found out he was sick, I quit my job and I packed all of my belongings and I moved back home. Because I know that pain of not knowing what it is to say goodbye to somebody. And I thought that she would understand the same aspect because you didn't get to say goodbye either. That's why I feel the way I feel. Not only that, my mom has lied to me. And I've held that over her head. Not over her head as using that as blackmail or anything, but I've held her to that. And my grandma. When my grandfather passed in like 2016, I was actually on vacation for spring break. And I wasn't going to leave that day because I found out my mom was taking him to the hospital. And I said, well, where are you going? She said, to take your granddad to the hospital. He's not feeling well. He's got his fluid tank is like really full. And I said, well, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to go with you to the hospital with granddad. Like, my granddad was my father. Um, she ended up making me go on vacation. So I went, and that Sunday, my friend gets a phone call as I'm laying in bed. I hear her whispering on the phone, and I turn over. It's her talking on the phone, and I guess she was talking to her mom or my mom. And they told her to basically pack me up and take me back home because my grandfather died. No one ever told me this until I got in the yard. But before they told me this is where the lies come in. I'm like, why is all these people in my yard? Why is this tent here? Because my grandfather passed. And they told me he was inside the house. So I never got out of the car. I'm just asking all these questions, still in the car door open, and my mom could not look me in my eyes. Her face is, you can tell it's like wilted a little bit. She can't look at me at all. She never looks at me until I get out of the car, and after they basically say, hey, granddad's gone. And my grandma said it, she said, yo, he's in the house. Straight face, it flew off so quickly. And I said, this lady just lied to me with a straight face. Right. So I've never been able to trust anyone.
Really a lie, or is that what she wanted to believe?
A lie, because she knew the truth.
Some people will know the truth, but mentally, no, he's still there. I had someone literally, their son had died, and they just kept calling and looking at me like, he won't answer this phone. Like, we both knew. And she's like, he won't answer the phone. Because there was a disconnect.
And I was there
You
before.
could agree. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that everyone here was agree differently. Because for her, that's my person. Which he's still in there.
I just felt like they was trying to get me out of the car because I never would leave the car until they would answer my questions.
Do you think
Because they
because they knew how close you were, they wanted you to be in-house safe before they told you?
and that's my thing. Don't ever think for me. You don't get paid to do that, boo. If you did, you'd be making bank, and you're not. I do enough thinking on my own, I promise you. I stay up thinking, and I want to lay down. Yeah, don't think for me. Don't ever think that your judgment is better than mine, because I'm a big girl. I can handle things on my own. I've been doing that for a while. And if it gets really tough, then I call reinforcements. I didn't need reinforcements then. They didn't give me a choice to say goodbye. When I was walking the strip, because it was spring break, we were out hours, and we never really went to sleep. We were just running the days. And I'm walking the strip that Saturday. Next thing you know, my heartbeat stops. It literally stops beating. And I hold my chest and I say, guys, I can't feel my chest, like my heart beating. And I'm literally, the street light is beaming on me. And they're like, what's wrong? Like, do we need to go to the hospital? We need to go home. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it just feels weird. And then it starts back beating again. Normal.
And that was the time of the transition?
They called me even after those moments. And I could hear it in her voice. I'm like, well, where's Granddad? Can I speak to him? Well, he's fine. He's sleeping.
So that was the story.
And I get it. I was gone.
I
was just in
Myrtle
Myrtle
Beach.
Beach.
You didn't get your chance to say.
Because that was our promise. That was our promise. Whenever he was to go. And that's the thing. I never saw my granddaddy leaving this earth. I saw myself leaving. Everybody else. I never saw him leaving this earth.
Because he was your first step.
It was never a day that I could think about. Even if it was just to pick up the phone or when my friends started driving, I would ask them, hey, could y'all take me by my grandparents' house? I want to go see my granddad.
So when she took him to the doctor originally, It was genuinely to like get checked out. It wasn't no.
Well, it was.
We felt he was on his last leg. We knew he was on his last leg.
We didn't. Well, I didn't know the severity of what my granddad was going through. We just knew, in a sense, but I don't think so.
No one expected it.
Right. We knew that he had fluid buildup. My granddad couldn't wear pants for like years, maybe, or some time. He would just be covered up, sitting in a chair, and it was basically a bag of fluid.
Like lymphedema.
I guess something like that. I'm not even sure what it was, but he had a couple of things wrong with him. But I knew he was a diabetic. But the bullet that he shot when he shot himself was still inside of him. So that was another thing besides the diabetes. I just feel like they took that away from me. They didn't give me an option, basically, which, don't get me wrong, I understand exactly why they did it in those moments because I was away from home. But I was safe. I was with my friend. If it was any...
Was she in a position to deal with you or comfort you the way you would have needed to be comforted in that moment?
I've lost so many people, and if it was anybody else that was ever there, it was always her. Like, we've always been there for each other.
Okay. Now, next thing to you. For you. What was your granddad's name?
Isaiah. Isaiah Frazier.
So, your granddaddy was in that chair right there. Right now. What would you say to him? What would you have said to him then? Just imagine that he's sitting right there in front of you.
I will tell him that it's okay.
He's sitting right there.
It's okay. I will hold his hand. I give him a hug. And I thank him for always being here for me. And I thank him for letting me be there for him in those moments. And I pray with him.
Do you want to hold my hand? And pray? So what would you pray?
Father God, I ask you that you watch over our family. Did you see my great people sick? Did you protect my grandma? Make sure that she's not alone.
You know, we don't always have the best relationships with her. And make sure that she still feels that. We thank you for the blessing love. We thank you for the integrity. We thank you for the peace, for the comfort. We thank you for releasing every physical body. We thank you for our and we thank you so much for the love of this house. And the one who invested in you. Allow us to be used to do in your work and with your unconditional. You know what? One of the beautiful things about forgiveness, because you know it's not for the other person, it's always for you. It allows you to give God back His children and give God back the situation that are too heavy for you to carry. You were carrying that for a long time. And your granddaddy hurt you.
I don't want to be angry with them or feel away. I just don't want anybody to make those calls for me of how I'm going to take things. Because I take things pretty well if you're honest with me. If you don't beat behind the bush, because I'm a direct person. And that's what it was that sent me over the edge with my ex-boyfriend. And that's what I was able to communicate those things to him.
Okay, hang next to me, please. See what they're saying on the news.
Yeah, I was telling him, you know, I want to forgive you because I don't want to walk around with any malice in my heart. Especially not to you, especially because I said I love you. And anybody that I said I love, I never wanted them to feel like it was never true. Because I'm an intentional person. And that's why I was so angry with him, because he said that he knew me. And he was saying, well, apparently, you know, I thought I knew, well, I knew the old you, but apparently I don't know this new you. And I'm saying, I'm the same person. Yeah, but I've always had that same value. Don't try to fake for me. Because I do seem like I'm a hard person, but I'm softer than most people think.
Do you believe that you should take a period of no contact with him so you can genuinely breathe the relationship? You haven't had enough time to genuinely breathe it. You know, frequent communication so shortly thereafter, and now the bombshell on top of it. I can understand why it's essentially spiraling, you know? But if you could take a 45, 60-day break from communication, I'm not saying I won't be your friend later. What I'm saying is right now, I need a moment. And I need a moment to process all that I'm going through. And that situation triggered all this other stuff. But at least you got to say the prayer for your grandfather and say what you would like to say to him. So that's a blessing. But it triggered that. It's okay to say I need some space and I need some time. Like, I need a minute. Like, yo, this is overwhelming. Or did you feel the need that when you got out the hospital you had to communicate with him?
That's the thing, even when I was in the hospital, I wanted to talk to him. And that's why I say, the relationship is a little complicated. Because although, you know, we hurt each other sometimes, I would never want to see him actually hurt in those ways. Although apparently I'm hurt in those ways, but
All right. Thank you. That's all about to get to. What about the start playing? So it's okay for you to be over here hurting while you say, nah.
that's not what I'm in. No.
But that's what you do,
No.
right?
And that's what I was saying, the pain infliction. Inflicting the pain. I don't know if I could do 45 days, honestly, because we've always been friends. And bombshell or not, I'm not seeing him in those ways. I'm actually seeing other people. So
you mentioned that before.
Yeah, so it's like,
But you have a very
codependent relationship.
intense, toxic soul toxic. Who's about to bring forth life with another person. Stop lipping and say it out loud like that, right?
We said it out loud to each other, and we both crying on the phone because it's a lot of emotions. Although he said, you know, it happened when we were technically together, but in all honesty, we've never really broken up. And that's what he even told her. He was like, I guess they were arguing or whatever, and she brought up the fact that how he kept going back to me. And he was saying, you know, I basically told her, you know, we never really broke up. Like, she's always been a part of this picture, which is very true. No matter who you go around, everyone still refers to me as the girlfriend because that's all anybody knows. Am I comfortable with it? No, but do I understand? Yes. I'm the one I'm seeing. It ain't him. Everybody knows that's just my friend. Like, our families know that we're still friends. I'm trying to. Well, we did take some time away from each other.
How much time?
It wasn't enough. Don't get me wrong. We had each other blocked. So, and it wasn't on bad terms or anything. We just knew we needed space from each other. And he said, although you unblock me, I'm going to keep you blocked because I do need to take time away, which I said, you know, I feel the same way, but I know how I feel as well.
So it was okay for him to take time away?
No, I took time away as well. It was just, I felt like it wasn't enough time. Maybe like all together, like between on both ends, it wasn't enough time apart.
So did he control the time?
No.
Right.
No. You know, I'm a bossy lady.
Can you do 30 days?
I can actually try to do. I can realistically, I can do the 30, but I will try for the 45.
When I say no contact, I mean straight no contact, no text, no phone calls, no nothing, no. You can accidentally sniff my blue cheeks, nothing. Can we do that? If not, we can go for 21 days.
Let's try 21.
In fact, let me come back with. I know more than 21 days.
Okay.
Can we try for at least from now until your next section, which is gonna be April the 13th? Like 26 days. Come on now, I said 45 originally, but I really was gonna do 90.
Can I communicate that?
Telling him, you mean?
Yeah.
You don't owe him nothing.
No, it's not that. You know, and because I plan to have him still as a friend. But I want to heal from the relationship. I want to heal from the thoughts of me being sad because he's bringing life into the world and it's not. Literally, we've said that over and over to each other, like, it's not me. And you're saying how she's this and she's that, but in those moments, she wasn't this, she wasn't that. She was your good time. So, now you and your good time have to have a child. I hope that's the best time. He was saying it was a mistake and all kind of things like that. I'm like, the situation might have been a mistake, but the baby's not a mistake. That baby is supposed to be here, and it's supposed to be loved. Now, is your karma going to be good? No. Will someone in your bloodline reap it? Yes, because that's the way it works. If you don't get it, somebody else gets it. That's why I told my dad, you could shoulda, coulda, woulda all you want about how you treated women. Now I'm getting that backlash. Even now to my brothers. If I don't get the backlash, then your daughters get the backlash. Because you're somebody's daughter. And they don't understand it until it's their child. That's when it hits home. Wow. That's 26 days. Okay. Okay. I think I better do it now. Because
And this is just temporary. I had to give somebody a whole year and a half. Try to get me through every person you could think of. People I didn't even speak to on a regular basis. Such quality, right? For what? Trying to reach you. I like on everything. Why? I had to do it.
I have a situation like that. From middle school to the present day. And my ex-boyfriend was trying to figure out, like, why is he still... And he's married. And like I told him, I'm very special. You don't run into a presence like mine, a spirit like mine, and you're not infatuated with it. Because me, personally, if I'm not on the front of your mind, that means I'm on the back of your mind. And I never want to be there. I always want to be on the front of your temple. Uh-oh, there's the call. Hi, Michael. Are you busy or is someone around you? Are you busy? I just need something to tell you, and I'm here at therapy. I'm put you on speakerphone, so just listen. Hi, Michael. We are grieving our relationship. We're unpacking a lot, and we did not take enough time off from each other. Do I want to? No. Should we? Yes. You know, can you mute your side? Because that's distracting. Can you mute your side? Because that's distracting me, your noise. I need you to be present for this conversation. Because it's going to irritate me if you're not. I want you to mute the sides because I want to get my thoughts out clearly is what I'm saying. Like, it sounds like the phone is being moved around. Anyway, we need to take time off from each other. 26 days. Not saying that we won't ever talk again. I just have to grieve the relationship. I have to process all of what we unpacked over the phone on our own, but also the things that I've unpacked with my therapist. So she decided to instruct me to have 26 days of no contact, no messages, no talking to you at all, no seeing you, which is going to be very hard for me. So I can heal, and that when we become, well, not become friends, when we continue our friendship, that I don't feel like this will trigger me. Even if it is your child, it won't trigger me because I've healed from it. I'm processing it and I'm moving on for better. Well, we're moving on for better, you know what I mean? So, am I happy about this? No. Have I been trying to wiggle my way out of these 20? It started from 90 days to 100 days. What's up? Well, yeah, I didn't think you would have feedback. Yeah, so I can, so we can read from.
This is all to promote healing.
Yeah, it's
so that you can have improved communication.
Right.
And we don't let you back in the hospital.
So, I don't know if you can hear Miss Colleen or not. She's basically saying this is so that I can heal, so that I don't. It can be clear communication, so that I don't end up back in the hospital again. Because not like I said on the phone the other night, you weren't solely the problem, but you were the feather that just broke it all for me. Like I told you, I'm angry about still being at home and not being on my own. Don't have a car. Like, I can't pay for medicine on my own. Like, I literally have to depend on everybody right now, and I'm very prideful. That pisses me off in every way. It makes me angry and violent that I cannot do on my own, and I have to ask somebody for help. And people love to throw that up, and I just don't want to go through none of that. I'd rather just do it on my own than ask for help.
Have your conversation with it. You got 15 minutes for today. You're asking for total. When you get the call, whatever, give them 15 more minutes. And then you start. Yes, ma'am. You can do that. I can do that. Yeah, taking some extra candy.
Okay, so I'm gonna